Peace to all of the family out there worldwide, even the entities in different galaxies tuning in. Wherever you find this video, I know it's early morning out in Cali. It might be late at night somewhere in Asia. So peace to everybody. I'm the Hood Mystic, representing www.hoodmystic.com. And today I just wanted to provide a different spin on the energy of Valentine's Day. So although I'm going to deal with some astrology today, the more focus is going to be on mythology and then eventually psychology and spirituality. Part of this is from a question that was a part of our Tapped In series from Energy Day Moon, and she asked specifically about Eros energy, and that just kind of led me down a rabbit hole. And I've been up since 4 because I couldn't sleep because of the message that I wanted to deliver today. The message was just becoming more clear in my dreams, and it was just impossible to go to sleep. I said, okay, Google, what time is it? She said 4:09, and I said, that's good enough. That's good enough, Google. It's time to get to it. She said, let's get to it. You know, we here now. So I'm not going to talk a lot, but I really want to be as clear as possible. And I really want to take my time. So the goal for this video is to help one person. So if I help one person, do me a favor, comment on the video and say this helped. I'm not worried about a whole bunch of people right now. I'm just really focused in on one person, because if this message don't help everybody and it go over everybody's head, I see a lot of existentialism, materialism, consumerism, sexuality, and things of that nature. And although it's cool, I'm under the personal opinion that there's more to life. One of my first girlfriends, she had that saying, "There's more to life than just sex, Kyrie." And then that would spark a different conversation, and we would go different places. And that was like when I was very young. So that kind of morphed me into like really seeing what's more to life than just the general things. And so that makes me somewhat of an outsider, somewhat of a weirdo. But it is actually gratifying because I'm utilizing the same principles that a horn dog would, that a thought bot would, that any sexual person would have, because I am that kind of person. I was a young thought box in my day. That's who I am. I'm not like that now, but Valentine's Day, love, passion, I utilize those principles almost nightly, daily, when we ain't got no babysitter, all day. When we do have a babysitter, rather, all day, So, passion is much a part of my life. I just do it in a safe, healthy environment now. But when it comes to spirituality, that's what works for me. I'm passionate about this shit. I love it. It turns me on. And the energy towards the self, and it's not my physical self, because some days I'm really trash, and it's not like physical attraction, because some days I'm hit or miss. Some days I got it going on, some days it's like, sit down, wear a hoodie or something, and that's cool. I've accepted that about myself. I've neutralized that energy. But when it comes to the deeper sexual things and the tantric elements, is more of a spiritual vibration. I'm giving away the whole talk in the first 3 minutes, but let's continue to let's digress a little bit. Let me say shout out to the family, Energy Day Moon. Thank you for this talk this morning. You are partly responsible, so shout out to you. Chaos, Old Boy, Green Heart, Honcho, Ego Soul Child, Jazz in the building, Green Heart Goddess, peace to you. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Hopefully everybody is in good spirits and high spirits as we discuss this energy. Venus is actually unexpected today. Today is Friday, is ruled by Venus, also the third brightest luminary in the sky. Signals illumination, love, reaction, cause and effect, attraction, beauty. And these energies are unexpected, meaning that these energies are free for your choosing. However, they are aspected by the nodal nodes. And this is in Gemini, which is conjunct Sirius. And this is really important based upon Egypt mythology and understanding Nefertum. And Nefertum, and you gotta have to do a lot of extensive research, but in the short of it, he is the son of Atum and Sekhmet, and Sekhmet is Venus. So at this particular point, Venus has a nurturing, kingly understanding. So ultimately, this ties into all of the daily energy readings, preparation and prevention for the life that you want to have, minus the details, because the North Node represents our future, the South Node represents our past lives, and from a collective aspect, we all can deal with Venus energy because Venus is a celestial mom. It's like the thing about mom, in our most basic understanding is when the whole world gives a shit, we can turn to that mom or motherly figure for sustenance. So even in a spiritual sense, when you reference Venus or Venusian energy, it is loving, it is nurturing. So this is what kind of gets the spiritual adept in trouble during Valentine's Day, because they are wishing to the feminine is wishing to receive love and throws the whole economy out of balance. From an esoteric sense, not you personally, you feel me, you are to that level, but understanding these nodal points, understanding that it's squared to Venus is the only energy that could really block you. If you're understanding the process between the head and the body and unifying that, and I know I gotta say this every video, get this disclaimer. I say a lot of things, and a lot of things I say can go in one ear and out the other, but I really need people to understand when I say connecting your head to your body, because that's some shit that can go in one ear out the other, because maybe you listening with your lower self, maybe you listening with your higher self, maybe you don't know exactly what I'm talking about and what I'm referencing. But your body is your lower self, and your cravings, your animalistic nature, your foodies, the flesh. That's your body. And that is not your head. These things aren't conjoined or connected. They're completely disconnected. They're never in the same place at the same time. At a biological understanding, it's called the sympathetic system, and then it's called the parasympathetic system. These two systems cannot activate at the same time, and they're triggered by mental thoughts. When your parasympathetic system is active, it is because you are relaxed, you are secure, you are in your root chakra, it is grounded. You are safe, you're secure, you are happy, you are prosperous, you are looking forward. But when your sympathetic system is activated, you are active, you're doing something, you are trying to build, and the serotonin can't be released. And I'm not saying that each one is bad, but because you need your lower self. If you were just in your higher self all the time, you would starve to death. Okay? So these things need to happen, but therefore, the mere fact that they're separated, it causes us to really reflect on which one is really taking charge at any given moment, especially when there's downtime, especially when there's time to grow and there's time to advance. And that leads us into Valentine's Day, where we deal with particular impulses, and then bringing those impulses from the lower chakras up into the higher chakras. And this signifies to me Valentine's Day for the spiritual adept, because some of us are single, some of us are in relationships, some of us are single in relationships, some of us are in relationships, some of us are single but in relationships. right? It don't matter about none of that shit now. That shit's thrown out the window from a spiritual perspective. So impulses rule the world, not your society view of this situation, not how things should be. See, that's the problem with manifesting. A lot of times people think about certain situations like they shouldn't have been that way. I shouldn't have to raise these children alone and things of that nature. Well, that is very true. See, I'm a product of a single mother, and that is not right. But I understand the law of impulses, meaning that my mother and my father, they were supposed to have sex that day. I don't know if it was passionate, it could have been a quickie or whatever the case may be. It should have happened. So whatever circumstances resulted of that impulse, it's all chaos, it's all chaotic. There was a lot of one night stands for me, a lot of E&J in the morning time to get over my hangover, things of that nature, but it's got me to this point today, to this very second. See, my manifestation will keep going forward based upon the fact that my past wasn't a mistake. My past was actually right and exact with the understanding of Eros energy impulse. All of the women that I made love to, all of the mistakes that I've made, they've led me to this place. So this is just simply Eros energy from a lower state to a higher state. Because at a certain point, you're God, you're divine, you're all of these things, your sister, I love you. But then at another level, it's, I don't really fuck with him. I don't really like that person. That person rubs me the wrong way. So we gotta understand the level of impulse, the reason why we like people, then dislike people. We fall in love, fall out of love, don't understand what the fuck is going on with the whole situation. So it causes you to just be isolated completely, like I'm just not going to deal with nobody, right? I'm not going to deal with anybody because I can't trust people. But then I was like, well, do you have any relationship skills? Do you know how relationships work? Do you know the different hormones that are released before and after sex, and then the long-term effects of the relationship? A lot of people don't. But let me digress for a second. When we referencing Eros, we referencing the deepest, most primal aspect of the world. When I reference Nefertum, Sekhmet, and Ptah, I meant to say Ptah. Ptah and Sekhmet, they birthed Nefertum. Ptah is the god of creation, the primal creation of life. This is impulse, meaning that you could do all types of crazy shit in the whole entire world as an alien looking down. I'm not pinpointing on your small minute ass like, oh my god, look at such and such doing all of this crazy shit. Matter of fact, I don't even see you. You don't even exist. You don't even matter. It does not fucking matter what you do in the cosmic sense. The world has existed for billions of years. There's nothing that you can do that can impact the space-time continuum. You are controlled by society. You are controlled. You think that getting a goddamn heart with some chocolate in it is going to make the day better. So you've already lost in the brain. Your shit is fried. Let's just be clear. And when we talk about spiritual processes, it's the same way as me. You say, well, how do I XYZ? It's the same way as you asking me how to walk. Nigga, I don't know. You get up, you tell your mind, stand the fuck up, and you start walking. Manifestation 101. You just tell something triggers in your mind and it brings shit in your brain, down your spine, and they gotta stand up. When that shit start working, I won't be able to stand up. It's just that simple. It's the same way as me, a paralyzed person coming to me, asking them, can I teach them how to walk? I can't. That shit is off in you, like it's off. So love and sex and impulse is just a lower level of the most divine spiritual shit that you could ever do, because if you loved your spirit the same way you loved a box of goddamn chocolates, Forrest Gump out this bitch, but still deep though, still priestess goddess, come book me for readings, but I want this most superficial shit to make me satisfied. But then again, it's all levels and shit. Like, I wouldn't necessarily talk about children in this fashion, but I'm like, I know my audience, they not children, 27 and up or, you know, at least, you know, the younger people, they're very mature and they don't even have these problems. So understanding the different realms of relationships and impulse. Impulse is what impulse is. Society got you thinking that impulse means that y'all gonna be together and raise these kids together, but a person's impulse don't be like that. And certain people have impulses to live, but other people have impulses to die, meaning that your relationship ain't guaranteed by life. The person that you yelling at could pass away tomorrow, and you'll be looking like a sad goddamn fool about the shit because you didn't take life seriously, because you was all in your bag and all in your feelings. So you personally can deal with your life instinct or your death instinct, which is in aggression, which is tied into fear. If you don't take care of these kids, I'ma die, or something negative is going to happen. And as a mom, as a nurturer, as a God, you are creating that. I never heard my mom say nothing negative about my father or his situation other than the reality. Your father's in Boston right now. We in Ohio. When he can see you or get to you, I'm sure he would. But right now, you with me, and we going to take care of business. It ain't nothing else we can do. I remember crying to her. She said, "What do you want me to do about this situation, Kyrie?" And I realized, damn, Mom, it ain't shit you can do, huh? Well, life goes on. You need help with anything? You know? So don't make a negative situation your excuse not to advance. Because that's what I hear, if I'm going to be blood raw honest with you, is these lingering negative situations that really don't fucking matter, and is right in exact because you act upon impulse, and these impulses actually was creation. Now, a lot of these creations are beautiful children. Some of these creations are STDs, and I mean spiritual transmitted disease, because I know you wore a condom, but what did you use to protect your energy? What did you use to protect your aura? Nothing. You used a condom so you didn't get pregnant. That's wonderful. That is very sweet. But we talking about Valentine's Day for the spiritual adept, the spirits that's having human existence. And once you get to a level of consciousness, you just can't do the same shit that you used to do based upon a lower self. And then, if you do act on impulse, you gotta realize that impulse is as impulse does. It is impulse. Impulse is, if me and you have sex on that impulse, it don't mean we gonna be in a family together. That's just the reality of impulse. Society say no, but I can take your ass to court, or no, I can, sue you and do all of these things and get married and all of this shit and have a big wedding and get me a baller, or do any exit, get me somebody that look cute, give me somebody that, whatever standard you create that is going to create the ideal relationship, that shit will end, because impulse acts on impulse. You'll never find a situation where impulse led to a long prosperous relationship. What leads to long prosperous relationships is sitting the fuck down and talking, communicating, dealing with conflict, resolving conflict, not running away when conflict shows itself. That's how you have long-term relationships. This passion shit, this material shit, this sexuality shit is impulse, and you'll get an impulsive reaction from it. but you won't get nothing else from it. And I'm sorry that social media and the whole world lied to you your whole entire life, that said that you was going to be this great person, and then from this great person everything was going to manifest perfect for you. That wouldn't. Psychology shows me something very much different. Reliving trauma, no matter how good your shit is actually killing yourself very slowly. It's called Thanatos. So we also want to deal with the psychic development of feminine energy. The reality is that women have so many opportunities for sisterhood and community, but they too busy being salty that somebody got a relationship and they fucking don't. That's the reality of feminine energy in 2020. Because community and sisterhood, brotherhood, togetherness, it starts with female acceptance. Until we're accepted by females, then generally we're not gonna be able to grow. But females have to learn to accept themselves. And shout out to Astrozo. Ain't no Maybelline, Fenty, butt injections in the astral plane in the spiritual universe. That's not my quote. That's from Zola. Astro Zola. She put me onto that. My mind was blown. So all of this existential shit that people do to become beautiful, when you get to the spiritual level, you can't take none of that shit with you. So you might be falling in love with a beautiful person on the exterior, but when you get to the spiritual level, ain't no damn muscles. Ain't no 14-inch penis in the astro. It's this real demonic energy that's vamping off your shit. But in the physical, it's all good. Because once you get to the higher level, none of that shit exists. So when you want to talk about real shit, we talking about communication. When you want to talk about growth, we talking about a conversation. You want to talk about impulse, you come show me, come with your titties out, come with your ass out. You know, wear them gray sweatpants. You feel me? Have your muscles out. Have your waves popping, you know, come through in a nice whip. You'll get all of the impulses. See, even men is tricked into the thing. They think that if they come existential, they only going to get an impulsive reaction too. See, I come from the game. I come from, and this could be right or wrong, but I come from a school where if you ain't saying nothing, you ain't getting nothing. And it don't matter what you look like. If you can say what you want, you gonna get what you want. And it ain't no looking contest. That's just how I was brought up. And that might be right or wrong, and times change, but it's just weird to me, and I'm just observing. And another part about the feminine energy, I had a good conversation with astromystic.com. Check that out too, astromystic.com. And she was telling me how in this game you can really be caught in the lower self and never ever get out, no matter how spiritual or how deep you are, because your actions really tell the tape, and your actions generally happen when ain't nobody watching, and social media can allow you to paint a narrative that don't have nothing to do with the real you. So if you start to believe the narrative that you put out and not be in tune to your actions, then you know, it's a lot of fake shit going on. And then another thing, when it comes to manifesting and what we want and what we desire, and people get under the impression that meditation works and meditation helps. It does. It does. But you have to do it. And the person is like, yo, Meditation is hard, hood mystic. It's hard, bro. I can't, I can't do that shit and with some type of pride. I don't. I can't do that shit, nigga. I ain't about to be all meditating and, Do you love? Yeah, I love my mama, my kids, my girl. You love your soul? Of course I love my soul. Of course. I love it. Yeah. So, give me an example of something that you love. Beyonce. Okay. If Beyonce was in your bed every night and she like in a negligee, she in the mood, mad oil, would you kind of put her off to the side, or would you just hop up on that thing? You know what I'm saying? Hop up on that thing. What you talking about? What you talking about? See, this is the same energy you need for meditation, my nigga. This is the same energy you need. Starting to make sense. Not really, but it's starting to get there. And these are the conversations I have. Not with you, but other people. And it's really difficult, you know what I'm saying? Because it's just like, you gotta bring that passion into this spiritual thing the same way you would to your lower self. But if you think that the lower self and the way that you look at the lower self is like different and separate from the higher self, then you think like it's segmented. But as I started off this conversation, the same thought box I was in 2005, I'm still the same thought box, but I'm just a thought box for the mounds, just a thought box for my family. I had that same sexual energy, but I'm just using it in a healthy way, in the spirit. So it's more or less getting my mind on the divinity of the situation. And that's just kind of where my mind has been and my energy has been, because it's more or less of channeling this Eros energy and really getting to it. And it's just like the impulses, the carnal desires, and all of these things. But that's what it is. But it's also a longing for wisdom. So in my space, if I'm gonna just put it together and make it make sense, then I'm gonna make it make sense in that same fashion. If my carnal desires was a powerful thing at one point in time in my life, so what was the mechanism to make me want to just risk it all for some, vajayjay? But then when it comes to meditating and getting to myself to a better light, you know what I'm saying? I would have to use that same energy, but I have to learn how to channel that energy up, or at least make it make sense. Because in the reality of longing, it never goes away. Need and desire, it never goes away. So you could fake the funk, right? And act like it's all good and you understand this shit and it's 1,000 or whatever the case may be, but keep it 1,000. Like, you gotta realize some new shit that's going on. 2020 represents some new energy. This clear vision requires new energy. And if a person is just looking at this shit like, oh man, I already knew that. Come on, man. This represents the unknown source of all creative cause, meaning that the reality is that we don't know. What we should know is that when we get impulses and intuitions in the divine sense, not a ping on Tinder, we follow it. Because that's right and exact. That's the only way that we know. We know from our intuition and following our intuition. We don't know from knowledge, because knowledge is water. Knowledge is air. Knowledge isn't earth. I don't have a house full of knowledge, believe it or not. You don't walk into my house and like, damn, mystic, you got a whole bunch of knowledge in here. No, fucking not like it don't. Knowledge is, it's a river that flows through me. I pull on things as they come. It's a lot of shit that I talk about because it's an infinite river, and you could talk about the same thing. It's not a contest. It's not a collective plate. It's not a matter of how many books you got. It's not a representation of how deep you are. It's a representation of how present you could be and how hungry you could be for yourself. And when I reference yourself, I mean that small little light of unknown energy, of unknown impulse and intuition that just leads you to do certain things. It leads you to create certain things. I have a testimony, but due to legal reasons I can't even tell y'all my testimony, because that's how real it get, in a positive sense. That's how real it get, the impulse to create a song. You feel me? The impulse to draw some art, or the impulse to write a story. Oh, I got impulses all the time. I be having ideas all the time. What you do about it? Nothing. I gotta go to work, hood mystic. I be busy. So feminine energy, masculine energy. Masculine energy logic tells us, I'm gonna tell this and I'll be done. Masculine energy tells us that we need to be structured, rigid, logical, and that makes sense because pay bills, don't get evicted, blah, blah, blah. But so much of that gets us into a point where, okay, we need some feminine energy out here somewhere. I need to go dance, make love, do something. So we agree that feminine energy really helps out masculine energy balance out. So when it comes to the feminine energy, guess what balances out the feminine energy? Conflict, structure, boundaries, barriers, doing the shit every day, rigid, disciplined. Because it's feminine energy, because it's creative, because it can be metamorphosized into whatever you want to do, the actual channel, the actual funnel and time that it takes to build up your spiritual practice, to document it, will all be positive energy spent. The same way as if you go out every once in a while, you will have a nice life. Everybody like going out from time to time. So, man, I rambled, ranted, and raved enough. Time to get tapped in with the mystic. Please call in 385-799-9560. I want to get your thoughts on this conversation. I want to answer any questions that people have. I was very slow and deliberate to make sure you got the point. And if you got anything outside of that where it don't make sense, you want to argue, it ain't right. The thotty bodies is really what's popping and I got it messed up. The Instagram models is really got the spiritual healing and I got it messed up. Please call in 385-799-9560. Feminine energy creates all of this is the waters of noon. But when it's put into particular structures and alignment, it manifests. But I tell you, meditate before you start your day. Meditate at least something, do some spiritual practice, have a routine around it. Hood mystic, that's too hard. Go to work every day 5 days a week for 40 hours a week. That's hard, but you do it anyway. So why can't you? If you can work for 40 hours, and I say if you meditate for 5 hours a week, you'll drastically change your life. You wouldn't do it. Because the 5 hours is too much, but the 40 hours is cool though. See how your mind is conditioned so badly out of your greatness. I'm talking about dealing with your God self for 5 hours a week can change your life forever. But if that's too hard, and 40 hours a week is too easy, you feel what I'm saying? And even if there's some questions in the chat, please let me know. But really integrating that spiritual process into it as you may be working or doing these things, and really have some dedication or structure to your feminine energy, because in dealing with your feminine energy, you can create anything. The problem is that we too inundated with the physical masculine side of the energetic field that we don't even understand our creative feminine energy at this point. We don't understand the power of impulse, the power of intuition at this point. because we so droned in on what's already programmed for us, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, goddamn the natural world. It's all ways to get you out of your intuition and impulse. But you can always go within and follow that spiritual impulse and make love to yourself and have that passion for yourself, because the word make means create. So make love is creating. So even in the midst of having children, you don't know who your children going to be. Don't put it all on your deadbeat mom or dad. That person is a vital, important part to a larger and deeper legacy. So it's a human chain of events. We all come from a long human chain of events that, man, it's a lot of ratchetness that happened in the whole existence to get you here to this very moment. If it wasn't for ratchetness, your ass wouldn't be here. I guarantee. There wouldn't even be no world. There wouldn't be no creation if it wasn't for ratchetness. It is creation. It is making love. It's making existence. And that's all there is. Shout out to Love Live Life. That interview was on point this morning with Will Capru. That was, make sure y'all go check out Love Live Life. Sunday service is going up. I think Brother Pennant got something down in New Orleans this weekend for Valentine's Day, Soulmate. So if you're in town this weekend for Mardi Gras, check out Brother Pennant, Love Live Life. They all going to be in New Orleans talking about this very same energy that I'm talking about now, probably at a deeper, more profound level. So New Orleans, shout out. Hold on, let me get my mic together. I got a call.
Welcome. This service is provided by freeconferencecall.com. There is one other participant in the conference. Please announce yourself.
Yo, 214 is in the building. You tapped in. What's good? Who am I talking with?
Peace and Mystic. This is Jade. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Jay. How are you? Nice to hear from you.
I'm great. Good. I'm so glad I'm able to catch a live this morning. Peace to Mama Mystic.
Yeah, she's
everybody
right
in the chat.
No doubt. What's going on with you though?
Oh man, I just want to call in and say I'm really proud of you. I'm really proud of you guys. I'm really proud to, be a supporter of the channel. I've been rocking with you a little bit over 2 years now.
For sure.
So I'm just excited to see the growth. I'm excited to be a part of it.
Thank you.
Spot on, you feel me? And you really be speaking his Mystic. I'm just so excited, Joe, because you're about to really go farther in your journey. So I'm just excited to see your progress, and you're really inspiring, you feel me? So I'm going to definitely take you up on what you said about spending those 5 hours for a week straight.
Yeah.
An hour a day, and really just sitting with my higher self so I can elevate.
Yeah.
I just wanted to call in and share my love and give my support.
How's the baby?
She's great. She's great. Growing so fast, yo.
This
is amazing. I love it. I love it.
Definitely ancestors and, energy that has been here, or if they haven't been here, they're here to really do great things. So I'm always mindful of the youth, because I feel like our connection is the more that I grow into this consciousness. And I just want to thank you for a comment, but I just want to share with you that these connections are generally for these children to maintain relationships based upon this work, because these are ancestors coming through. They have a lot of great work to do, and we're just talking 18 years later. And it's just now beginning. So just maintaining healthy interactions and healthy communications like this is going to really, I know now is now, but these children have something special in store for us. So maintaining that connection, and that's why if you ever need anything, or I know Mama Mystic, when she needs stuff from you, she'll hit you up, and that's what we need right now. You know what I'm saying? Some form of network, some form, even if it's just a conversation. These babies are the future.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Even what you said the other day in your live about you getting those dreams from your son, I was like, yo, I cannot wait to like experience that with my daughter. And she is just so intuitive already, and so I just can't wait to continue to build that connection with her and just learn from her. And, watching Mama Mystic is really inspiring to be a parent on this spiritual journey.
Yeah.
Because we get to teach our children these things, so
Very
I
important.
definitely look forward to continuing supporting and learning from you guys, so that way I can continue to share and learn with my daughter. Because we watch you, me and the baby. Like, I have you playing while I'm cleaning up the house,
That's what's up.
and she'll listen in. She really be attentive.
That's what's up. Reminds me of John, but not like my other kids. So it's a certain little frequency we tapping into with these new babies. So most definitely,
for sure.
Be sure to keep in contact with Mama Mystic. I'm sure she would love to have a conversation or a build with you. You always in our hearts and our thoughts. So whenever you feel like reaching out, feel free.
Yeah, most def. I actually sent her a message. I'll send her another one because I got a new number too. So.
Okay, yeah, and
I'll definitely be hollering at y'all.
We got our phone back too, so it could have been a situation where got lost in translation. So just hit us in a regular number, and we'll hop back right to you.
Oh, for sure. Much love to the Mystic.
Thank you so much. Peace. Talk to you soon. 585. You tapped in. What's good?
Peace, Mystic. How are you? This is Energy Day Moon.
Hey, Energy. Good to hear from you this morning. How are you today?
I am most excellent. For those who may not know, I did have a read with Hood, and it was really enlightening. I would encourage everyone to do that.
Tell me about that. Can you kind of like, from what you remember or like what you pulled from it, like we had like a 22-minute conversation, and give as many details or as little details as you like, because I think I'm personally just interested in what you gained from it, because I gained a lot from it, but I just don't know what you actually gained from it.
Oh my gosh. Spiritually, it was a lot of confirmation. It was so strange. I actually told my husband about it when he came home. I was like, he was picking up, the deity with the arms, and he discussed Kali. You discussed Shiva. I actually went out and bought a Shiva 3 years ago. So it was to the point where it was getting scary. And I believe you was talking about that. But intellectually and spiritually, it let me know that that I can't get in touch with my higher self, and that I'm essentially communicating. I'm putting on transmissions, and you're sending them back. It kind of gave me some stability and foundation as to where I want to start again in my spiritual journey. It let me know that it's okay, and also confirmation to feel the way that I feel. It let me know that my intuition is absolutely on point. It gave me a lot of hope. I would encourage everyone to do that. It's a really, personal journey, but you have an intuitive ability that is uncanny. And I'm not even trying to be funny. You actually bounced off of the first read that I got from you way back in October when I first found your channel, and you were, pulling in, also you went way more in depth as far as my natal than anyone else, and that's not to take away from what other natal chart readers do, but I actually enjoyed yours more because you were able to give me more information, like you're a Taurus Gemini cusp, and so that was able to explain a lot more why I'm dealing with this clear cognizant and how I can more channel in that energy to make it productive, as opposed to destructive. Because if you're not able to really hone in as to, and then also when we talked about my 12th house, it also let me know where I might be lacking and how I could actually propel myself forward faster, to be able to hone in on my skills. So I appreciate that so much. And, that's why actually I told my husband this morning, I was like, I really want to get that natal. He was like, you should just go get it today. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, I got to look at the calendar. But
yeah, take your time.
I personally think honestly, I don't even want a natal now. I just want to pay an hour for a private session for you to just teach me. Like I'm that thirsty spiritually. I be wanting that type of in-depth private one-on-one, whatever they call it now. When you take an energy shot, you're like a spiritual energy shot. Esoteric dosage is what I always say. I wanted to also say that I think that it's important for people to get the tarot, the intuitive with the natal, a combination of that. It just works so well and it opens up so much. That's why I was encouraging people to do it as a combination. And don't be afraid to invest in yourself, people. When you look at prices, you might be hesitant. When we go to the store, we see them $100 Nikes. We don't hesitate to snatch that. But when we're looking at reads and looking at natal charts, and you're like, oh my gosh, look at the prices. Like, nah, this is an investment in yourself, and it's going to help you grow. So I just wanted to say this is a great topic as well, because when it comes to love and cognitive dissonance and how we think about things, and that's why I'm glad you brought the feminine aspect into it. When it comes to that, I think that when we think about it, it's always supposed to feel good. When the truth is, you could not like something and love it at the same time.
All the
just
time.
like you were saying. Yeah, and I didn't really even understand that. Like, even when it comes down to our very deep personal, interpersonal relationships that we have. Me and my husband have been dealing with each other for over 20 years, and sometimes I can't even stand the way he chews. I'm looking at him like, oh, I can't stand the way you chew. Why you got to breathe so hard? Why you got to dress like that? You know, but it's like looking at the whole picture of what really love is, what it can develop into. And I just want to say, when you start to love unconditionally, which you brought up when you were like talking about Venus and the love for children, I try to now apply that to a lot, not all, but a lot of my relationships, and try to love people unconditionally. Not, I'm going to love you if you do A, B, C, and D. Right. I'm going to love you. But if you don't, then I don't love you. That is not love. So I think that we have like an insidious way we think about love these days, because we've been programmed to think that love is supposed to be A, B, and C. And so I appreciate you doing this topic to open it up to just, you know, love doesn't always feel good. It's an energy, and it's how you use it. And it's, you know, it's not initially, I think, what I thought it was. So I just want to call and say thank you.
Nah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Again, the read again was amazing. I learned so much spiritually, and I would recommend anyone to just go ahead and take the time to do that with you. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Energy. You too. Have a great day today.
You too. Bye-bye.
Yep. So you might be at different points. Like, a person can give unconditionally, and that's their bag, but maybe you can't just give unconditionally. There has to be a conversation towards a lot of different things for relationships to be successful and to be married. And if you make a decision to be married with somebody, you have to first figure out how you guys resolve conflicts. Because a lot of the idea towards relationships is that there will be no conflicts, or some fantasy world where conflicts just no longer exist. But then the greater reality is that there definitely will be conflicts. So how do you handle those conflicts to get to the level of unconditional love? And as far as readings, man, I've done so many readings that it's not necessarily like psychic ability. It might seem like that to people, but it's like something that Abraham Hicks, he had a story about Jerry Hicks, and he used to go fly fishing. And he could just fly fish. He could hop from rock to rock to rock and never get his feet dirty, as she would say. He just had a natural knack, and when she hopped in and tried to fly fish, she would get her feet all wet and jump all, you know what I'm saying, get all messified and things of that nature. And I say that to say that if you've been practicing flying fishing since you was a little boy, it just becomes a natural thing, you know what I'm saying? And some, like my channel, I be kind of like showing that, like, just the overall dedication and consistency to really learn something. But then at the same time, I can learn myself out of it too. I can actually talk myself out of astrology. I can talk myself out of spirituality as a whole thought form if I wanted to. So it's never being demonstrative or trying to harness something, but actually letting this thing flow and just understand the river as a whole and not what water particles is flying by at that same time. So overall, like me studying my river, there was a lot of astrology and a lot of other things as well, but now I just get to a point where I just kind of can understand the flow or catch the vibes of energy. So if you ever wanted to get a reading, you would get a reading because your spirit is telling you to get a reading, and your spirit is saying that I can help you. Now, your spirit could also say, don't fuck with that nigga, he ain't shit, and you know what I'm saying, don't get a reading. But if your energy is directing you towards to even think that I could possibly help you, then I probably will tap you into more of a subconscious understanding and get you more connected from your head and your body, and then deal with some 10th house placements, some 12th house placements, some 7th house placements, and figure some things out, you feel me? And not, figure this thing out. So peace to everybody who's been joining me on the live this week. We started daily energy readings this week, and now I got to the point where I can't even say daily energy readings because I'm low-key spent. So I'm gonna enjoy these 2 days off, but best believe I'll be back Monday with more fire, more passion, more understanding, more astrology. We going into a new moon week, so be sure to purify your energy. Be sure to let things go. Be sure to really be free, because the more freer we are, the more space we have, the more abundance and manifestations are allowed to come in. So really work with the energy of the moon. Know that your energy is building back up. Don't really worry about setting intentions. Don't really worry about looking forward. Just really worry about creating a space for manifestations to come. Don't worry about the details. The details is irrelevant. The details is like, hey man, how do you walk? What's the details for walking? Do anybody know? There is no details. It's just a natural, organic thing. And so is spirit. As above, so below, family. And I hope y'all have a great and wonderful weekend. Talk to y'all on Monday. Peace.